Well,
wow.
Boston.
What a day of baseball. What a week of playoff baseball it's been. We're jacked up here. We're wearing different shades of blue. Needs no explanation. All right. How about those Blue Jays? How about my Cubs? Okay.
Maybe they're on a collision course.
Maybe they're on a collision course? How about those North Siders? All right. Eddie Vedder's fired up. I'm fired up. Let's go Cubbies. All right. We've got to talk a little bit of Toronto Blue Jays baseball here. And look, a couple weeks ago, it's about a month ago, we had our good friend, and we're going to bring him on right now because when we talk baseball, this is one of our favorites. Son, longtime Jays correspondent, okay, and he's going to be a busy guy, all right? Rob Longley joins us here. Mr. Longley, it's great to see you. How great is it to be covering the Toronto Blue Jays right now, my friend?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, I'm not going to lie, especially when it comes out of the blue like this after a 74-win season and they win 20 more games than they did the previous year, and they go from last to first for the first time in franchise history, and they win the division and all sorts of great expectations that go along with that. But to me, and this is my 9th season doing this, covering this team, it's more about the people and the stories. They're actually a fun team to be around, a bunch of good dudes in that clubhouse that really like each other, really care for each other, and are having a great time. So yeah, it's you can see why fans are really embracing what's happening. It's certainly reminiscent of 2015 in some ways. A completely different personality to the clubhouse, but the vibes around this team and especially around the fan base are very high and very similar to what they were a decade ago.
Okay, now before Clarkey jumps in here, I want to jump on something you said just there, Mr. Longley. The fans are embracing it. And we got a guy on this program that was not embracing it. And he's sitting here jacked up in his Blue Jays
Dude,
gear.
I have never, ever shied away from saying I'm a fair weather Blue Jay fan. When they're winning, I'm with them. I'm with them. Winner tie.
I have a hard time appreciating your newfound love for the Blue Jays again. And yes, you come by this honestly. I just thought that with our friend Rob Longley present here, and he was on the last episode where you were very negative. I wasn't
negative. I was just asking questions.
I would say you were supremely negative in your questioning, right, to our friend Rob. And he's now here to witness you.
Wait.
Yeah, interrupt him.
How many years did Clarkey work for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment?
That's not fair.
Allow the man to behave accordingly.
15 years. I never got a ring. As soon as I left, TFC won, then the Marlies won, and now rings everywhere.
You could have had a full share, Clarkey.
I could have. Anyway,
we're not here to bag on you, Clarkey. We're just having a little fun here, all right? Just because it was
I'm a Jays
dark.
fan. I'm a Jays fan. I wasn't a fan of the management team. And you know what? I'm eating crow. I get it. They all had internal improvements. I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't, but they have. And here we are. There's guys like Barger. What a player. This guy is exciting to watch.
And on that note, Rob, I really feel like if the Jays pull off the not so impossible at this stage, #1 seed in the American League, I mean, what a turnaround. I really do feel like if they win the World Series, somebody at Rogers needs to be ready to print internal improvement on their championship winning gear. They need to have that on their gear, Rob.
Well, this is a team and a franchise and an organization that loves hashtags, man. They just unveiled their latest one. Want it all. That's what it is. They don't want just a little bit. They want it all this year. So I could see that being a hashtag as well, Ryan. It's
how crazy was it going down the stretch, Rob, with the Yankees on fire? They won their
11
last
and
12 games, and then the Jays winning their last 3 games. It was an exciting last weekend of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And to me, the Jays showed me something in that final week of the season because, like you said, they had lost 6 of 7. the Yankees were surging, and they found a way to dig in and win their last 4 games, and they needed every one of them because they finished in a tie in the loss record with the Yankees, and found a way to persevere and hang on to it. A place that they've had at least a share of the division lead since June 30th, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, and really a testament to what they accomplished this year.
There's what they accomplished right there. Division champs for the 7th time in franchise history, the first since 15. Go ahead, Clarkey.
Well, no, but what do you think about this celebration after winning the East, after clinching?
Everybody does it, Clarkey.
I get it. I'm not saying everyone doesn't do it. They don't do it in any other sport. Baseball seems to be the only one.
So I'm of mixed opinions on this. I tend to lean towards your point of view on it, Clarkey, especially when it becomes a full-on production. It's just a little bit much.
I agree.
But how I've had it explained to me from baseball guys is that this is the longest season in professional sports. It's 160 games, and you should be able to celebrate and let loose a little bit. But I don't know if they clinched, it was always a foregone conclusion, basically, since the beginning of August, that they were going to make it into the playoffs. So I might have waited until the end of the season until they got the division and done it that way. But I wasn't at the wild card clinching one, but I was at the division clinching one. And like I said, it was a real production. They did it in a separate room from the club. They didn't even do it in the clubhouse. That's how contrived these things are. It was out in a big hallway in the bowels of the Rogers Center. There was a disco ball on the wall. There was TV lighting. It was all done for Sportsnet.
Right, exactly.
And these guys, the real party for these guys, the best part, the most genuine part of the celebration was when they went on the field afterwards with their families and really shared it with them. I thought that was pretty cool, and some of the fans that were still in the building. But let's face it, the real party would have come wherever they ended up that night, because they had an off day on Monday and then 4 more off days after that until they were going to play again. So that's where the real party was. The one with the champagne. Nobody even drinks the champagne. They just spill it. They just spray it all over the place.
Of course.
It's done for television. It's done, it's a soundbite. It's a TV clip, and it's and it's an Instagrammable TikTok moment. It's all of that stuff. That's what it is.
I miss Barry Davis with his goggles on in the clubhouse talking to.
He was the first one to wear them.
I think he was. Yeah.
Barry was a trendsetter for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking of trendsetters, in terms of the way the weekend went, there's 2 guys that are getting all the flowers, and for good reason, particularly the guy on the left, in particular, that final game of the regular season that they ultimately would have had to win because the Yankees did win earlier. And how about Captain Kirk, man? I mean, we want to talk about internal improvement. I mean, last year he had an up and down season, some injuries. People forget, these guys are human. He had a kid last year. I mean, there was a lot going on for Captain Kirk. Well, he put the captain's hat back on this year and was one of the most productive catchers in baseball, was one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, and he just went off. First career grand slam, bottom of the first. Dan Shulman was going to jump out of the booth. He hits another dinger, 6 ribs on the day in a blowout win of the Rays. I mean, Rob, you're down there, the electricity around Captain Kirk was on another level.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the grand slam obviously was huge. It was in the first inning. They'd gone down by a run, and there was a real nervous energy in the building because the Yankees had gone up 1-0 out in the Bronx. And it's where are we going with this? The second one really brought the house down. But what to me was the coolest part about it all was in his subsequent trips to the plate, he got a standing ovation each time. It didn't matter what he did. As he came out of the dugout, he got this ovation from the fans. It was really organic and really quite loud. And for the first time since he's been a Blue Jay, since I've been around him, he really showed some emotion. He's a pretty stoic guy. He's a good dude, but he's very stoic, very quiet. After he hit that second home run, he was blowing kisses to the crowd, and he came out for a curtain call. And that's very out of character for him. But I think I think it speaks to what he feels about the fan base and what he feels about the team. Right now I'm working on a feature that's going to probably run in the Saturday paper. I just picked a bunch of dates that are significant to this team from this season and the past. But one of the ones to me is March 28th. That's the day that he signed his big extension. That was a 5-year extension. That was the Blue Jays showing faith in him. Basically anointing him as the catcher of the future, and that they believed in his capabilities, both as a catcher and a hitter. And I think it really freed him up to just sort of give him that security. He went from a guy who was a young catcher on the rise to a veteran, like almost overnight after signing that contract. You talk to any pitcher on this staff, and they love Alejandro Kirk. They love the way he frames pitches. Obviously, he's one of the best in the league at doing that. But they love his pitch calling. They love his demeanor. He's so steady in everything that he does. And now that he's added a little bit of more power to his attack, he's been such a big part of this the success of this team.
We're gonna talk a bit about the ALDS in a bit here, but the three things that concerns me, just being Mr. Negative, as Ryan pointed out, three things that concern me: A, Bo Bichette's health; B, their offense; and C, Hoffman trying to close a game. Am I wrong? Like, are those the biggest three things?
Bo Bichette, I'm on the record as saying I don't know that he'll ever play another game in a Blue Jays uniform.
Yeah.
Offense, it's been too erratic for sure. And if you don't have to go too far back in their playoff history to see how really poorly they've done in playoff games. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has, I think, one hit or one RBI and 2 or 3 hits in his 6 playoff appearances. Offense has been too erratic. Obviously, they do have some power, and they have been able to manufacture runs for much of the season. But concerning in that regard is what they did in September. They had a bit of a burst towards the end, but not enough in my mind. Hoffman, I've told you guys, I do believe in him. I do think that he's kind of the guy that can get the job done. But I'm even starting to wonder now. This is his first season as a true closer. He's had some good runs in there, but he's had some bad runs in there, which really concerns people. But most alarming about Jeff Hoffman right now is the fact that his velocity has dipped. And he's even on the record as recently as a couple of weeks ago when I spoke with him as saying, he's trying to work on things on his delivery. Like him and pitching coach Pete Walker are trying to get to the bottom of it. What's the mechanical issue that's caused his velo to drop?
They better hurry up.
If you're working on that in mid-September, that's a pretty big concern, and even a bigger concern in that I don't know that they have anybody that can that's logical to step into that role. So it's almost like you got to send him out there, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then pray that he gets it done.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, all things considered, I would say that with these concerns and I think, Clarkey, you nailed the big three. I mean, those are the ones. And I think that the offense is the one that's the easiest to kind of set aside and say, this is probably the one that's easiest to overcome just based on the way they have been able to bounce back from slow stretches this year. It is easy to forget in times when they're not playing that well, swinging the bats that well, that this is the team in Major League Baseball that struck out the fewest amount of times. They have the lowest strikeout rate as a team. Like the discipline at the plate has remained very solid. The production, right. We'd like to see it spike back up here. But all things aside, when you look at the balance of what occurred this year, Rob, I know people want to see a first playoff win since 2016, and that's obviously a huge focus. But the balance of what occurred this year is extremely positive, isn't it? Like the turnaround from where they were last year to being the best team in the American League is pretty substantial.
Not if they don't win a playoff game. I don't care. I really don't care.
I agree.
You have the top seed in the American League and what has been overall the weakest version of the American League in over a decade. And great, good on you. You won 20 more games than you did last year. That shows some progress. But if you can't do anything you know what you sound like, Ryan? You sound like Mark Shapiro.
Don't do that.
Yes, he does.
I've heard him say it a dozen times. You know, there's a randomness to the postseason. The playoffs are all that matters is the regular season. That's where you show what kind of a baseball team you are over 162. So why play the playoffs then? Give them a little pennant to hang in the Rogers Center because they finished first. Yay!
I gotta tell you,
they will get a pennant.
No, East you know what?
They will. They'll hang the pennant.
They'll get it.
They got other ones up there for sure. East
Division.
So
they should. Playoffs. It's all gravy now, right?
They got to win one game out of 5 or out of 3.
Look, I'm not saying
one game out of 3.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it would be a huge accomplishment to not win a playoff game again. I guess I just mean that, I actually agree with your take though, Longley, in the sense that, okay, you've had this wild improvement. What does it all mean though, if you can't do it when it matters most? I certainly agree with that take, because what will you look back on then? Like, if they don't win, and I feel heartily confident. By the way, we're recording this just as Game 3 is about to end between the Yankees and Red Sox. Yankees up 4-0 here. It looks like they're going to punch their way through top 9. I would feel confident whether it was Boston or New York. I feel like the Jays are a better baseball team, top to bottom. They proved it over the balance of 162. They better beat whoever comes through, barring a miraculous Red Sox comeback here. It looks like it's the Yankees. They better beat them because they earned that tiebreaker against them, and you better do it in the postseason. And on that note, I want to look over on that New York side, Longley. You've watched that team an awful lot too, just based on who they're in the division with. They got guys over there that don't exactly show up as well as they should in the postseason too. And I'm talking about, the man who presides over Yankee Stadium, and that's 99. In your opinion, because this is all I really want to talk about in terms of the Yankees, you want to talk about the Blue Jays on here. Do you think that he can be an all-time Yankees great if he doesn't win a World Series, let alone have better postseason numbers? Because numbers aren't good.
I would say probably not. I mean, well, that's a tough one, right? Because it looks like he's going to be a career Yankee, and he sets all these home run records, and he hits 60 every year, it seems like, or 50 every year.
But not in the playoffs.
But not in the playoffs. And here's where I do agree with you on that premise, is that unlike Mark Shapiro and Ryan Drury, the Yankees care about winning championships, right?
Yep.
So
I don't like this narrative.
If he's not winning championships, can he be held in the pantheon of all-time Yankees great? Probably not.
It would be
I kind of think he
right?
is already, but
I do too. Only in the sense of like baseball, like we've touched on with other traditions, it's a unique sport in that the season's so long. I legitimately, and I'm not just saying this so my boss Scott Kitching doesn't get me in trouble. I legitimately think that Aaron Judge, you could make a serious argument and probably come out of the argument right that he's the best right-handed hitter of all time. Like, you look at what he does, it's disgusting, the stuff that this guy's been doing to baseball since he stepped into the league. Let's talk about this matchup, though, because yes, they had a better record against the Yankees this year. They earned that tiebreaker. When you look at these teams head-to-head, are you favoring the Jays to beat the Yankees?
I think slightly, but I think it's a real even matchup. I do like the fact that from the Blue Jays perspective that these guys have gone 3 games against the Red Sox. Like, this is it all happens pretty fast right now because these guys will celebrate probably quite quickly. They'll get on a charter flight to Toronto. They're mandated by the league to show up at the Rogers Center on Friday for what they call a workout day, but it's also media availabilities and stuff like that. They have to be at the Rogers Center at some point tomorrow. I suspect it won't be till later in the day. But that's after having played 3 intense games. I mean, this game was a bit easier. It wasn't like tense right up until the end of it, but 3 games in a row, and finishing the season sort of on that grind as well, trying to lock up first place. So they've got to be a little bit weary. But I just think that the Blue Jays do. And here's where you're right about this Blue Jays season, Ryan, and how you can sort of take some positives from it. The Blue Jays do a lot more things right than they have in quite some time. And by that, I mean they play way better defense than they have, way more consistent defense than they have over the last number of years. They manufacture runs. I'd like to see a little bit more power, but we all know what Ross Atkins thinks about power, right? So I guess what I'm saying is that I get the sense that the Jays are just a little bit more complete than the Yankees. They may even have, as weird as it sounds to say this, because there's questions about the Jays rotation. They may even have more depth in their starting rotation, more high end depth anyway. I'm pretty excited to see what Trey Savage does in the postseason. And maybe like who wins between Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Aaron Judge in this series?
Oh my gosh,
that's what it's going to come down to. But
how do you see the rotation playing out here? Games 1, 2, and 3.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow. They're going to announce their first couple of games, I think. My guess would be it'll go Gausman, Bieber, and then maybe a Savage. But there's been some suggestion today that makes actually a fair bit of sense, that maybe you go Gausman game 1, and then you go Savage play game 2, and then you say Bieber for Yankee Stadium game 3. Of all those guys, well, Gausman would be fine at Yankee Stadium too, but maybe Bieber. Game 3 is going to be a huge game in the series, no matter what the status is.
Yeah.
So maybe you save Bieber for that one, and then you could arguably, depending on how he goes, it's a possibility, I guess, that you could go back to him in game 5. Well, that would be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe that if you really believe that Savage can handle a start in the postseason, then maybe you think about going with him in game 2. There's also the possibility that at some point the Jays go wacky, and this wacky I actually like, as much as I hate what they did with Barrios in 2023
in Minnesota. Yeah.
In Minnesota. That's one of my dates too, that's central to this stupid team. October 4th, 2023. Yeah. 3 days later, followed by Ross Atkins throwing John Schneider under the bus. But I'm not going to give it all away. Read it all in the paper on Saturday.
We will.
Yes.
Read it. Where was I rambling with this?
They're going to go out of the way.
They're going to get
something wacky.
Yeah. Why would they not go? I think at some point they might even try this. Some sort of opener situation where, like, Louis Varland was so good in those 2 inning start that he had.
He was
last week, and the way the bullpen, like whether it's Eric Lauer after that, and the way that kind of all worked out. Maybe you sort of flip it a little bit. You give Savage 1.5 trips through the order, and then you bring in Louis Varland. Like I could see them doing something like that. Because the Yankees, I don't think the Yankees haven't seen Savage yet either, right? So it's I could see them try. You cringe at thinking of them trying to outsmart themselves because of what happened a couple of years ago. But
whatever the computer says, that's what they're going to do, Rob. You know as well as I do.
Well, here's the thing. This is something that I think is one of the reasons this team has done so well this year. Is I think that they've found a better balance of that than they used to. I think John Schneider, the manager, has more autonomy than he's ever had. I think because he has more autonomy, he has the greater trust of the guys in the clubhouse, and it's really worked well. There was a real reckoning after that stupid incident in Minnesota. I mean, it took a year to do that, though. Like, players were angry all of last year,
as they should have been.
Part of the 174 games last year and finished in last place. But this past off season, there was a real reckoning between all levels of the organization, from the front office to the coaching staff, the coaching staff to the players, and even the players to the front office. There was a lot of hard conversations held last winter, and they came to spring training with a sort of a different flow of information and a different mindset. And I think that Schneider has flourished as a manager because of that. He would be the first to tell you that he's a better manager today than he was 2 years ago, that it's a lot different managing in the big leagues than it is in the AA and single A and the places where he'd had some success within the Blue Jays farm system. And it's kind of paid off. Now, does he have complete autonomy? No. He's certainly is beholden to the computer a little bit as well. but he's a guy that what I like about John Schneider, and I think he's going to be he's got a good shot at being the American League Manager of the Year. What I like about him is he's got a real nice mix of understanding the analytics side and being able to compute it and integrate it into a game plan. But he's also got a bit of old school manager in him too. Mm-hmm. And you can question some of his gut decisions, but he's a guy that's willing to make those decisions and has some pretty solid institutional baseball knowledge. And I kind of like the mix of the way that he's handling those kinds of things this year.
I would shudder to think of anybody else who could lay claim to Manager of the Year outside of obviously the insane thing that Cleveland pulled off. Everybody's favorite guy, Tito, down there. I mean, everybody loves him, but I just don't feel like, look, I understand they erased a historic deficit and pulled off an insane thing against Tigers, which ultimately came up short. Tigers put them out in a very tense series, but I think you have to look at, in baseball, the balance of the season. This isn't the NFL. Yeah. This isn't the NHL. I do strongly feel like John Schneider should be Manager of the Year. And on that note, and under his leadership, and I think that the guys appreciate his old school approaches, and I think that did factor into the year they had last year. I think that you could tell that he's a player's guy, and the players didn't appreciate Ross, the boss, throwing him under the bus in the fashion that he did. On that note, it's one thing to win a playoff game and finally go, they finally got one. In your opinion, with everything we've kind of covered here, if they don't advance to the ALCS, will you consider that a failure? And I know Clarkey will have strong opinions as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess, first things first, and, best of five, a lot of goofy things can happen, but I you win the division, and it goes back to when I was playfully taking shots at you earlier. I think that you really have to validate winning a division and the top seed by having some playoff success. Does that mean going all the way to the World Series? No, I'm not going to go that crazy, but I think you really have to find a way to win a division series. And so much of their success this season is directly intertwined with the New York Yankees, and that's what makes this matchup to me so intriguing. Like, you go back to the Canada Day weekend series. It wasn't the weekend, but it was Canada Day week series. The Yankees were at the Rogers Center for 4, starting on June 30th. Sellout crowds for each of them. Great vibe in the stadium. Blue Jays won all 4. They went from a game and a half or 2 games back to a game in front at the end of it, and they never lost the lead the rest of the way. They were caught and had a share of the lead in the last week of the season, but they never lost it. And they won it because they won the season series against the Yankees 8-5. So if it weren't for having won that series in June and the overall season series, they would have been playing in the wild card round. And then you just look at this. If you look at this corner of what I'm calling the American League East corner of the MLB playoff bracket, it's Yankees and Red Sox battling to face the Blue Jays. I think it's pretty cool, actually. But they're so intertwined with what has happened in their meetings with the Yankees. And another part of it, September 6th in the Bronx. That's when Bo Bichette hurt his knee, right? And that plays a big part in everything as well, because many people wonder is like, how can this offense continue to produce and win without the best hitter in the American League in their lineup? So there's so many links between the Blue Jays and Yankees this season.
And it's kind of cool. This is the first time they met in the postseason. I'm excited about it. It's going to be great. Starts Saturday at 4, Sunday again at 4. I'm really pumped. And I know, like, you might think, hey, it's player against player, but there's going to be rivalry in the broadcast booth too, with Michael Kay and Jamie Campbell with the broom. And Buck Martinez saying the Yankees are not a good team. Yeah. Like, it's everywhere. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
it is going to be exciting. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Sure. I'm curious too, and this seems like an obvious answer to a lot of people, the way this guy bounced back. Again, team internal improvement, all right? And you guys can have that. Jays merchandising folks, Take this and run with it. Get this on shirts. Get it ready, okay? I want to ask you a question that, again, it might seem obvious. Who, in your opinion, Rob, and you watch the team all year, who is their MVP this year? I feel like I know who you're going to say. I have a different take, though, but you go ahead.
We've already gone through this on the show.
No. The season's over now.
Well, it's not going to change.
So what are you going to try to do? Go something cute and ignore the obvious?
Yeah, probably.
You're not going to go with George Springer? Is that what you're telling me? What are you going to do? Go Addison Bard here?
No.
Are you going to go Ernie Clement?
No.
George
Although
Springer,
I'd say
man.
Ernie Clement would be like my unsung hero, the guy that maybe doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, he's not the MVP.
I would give some serious love to Alejandro Kirk because of his impact on both sides of the plate.
Sure. It's still Springer.
So sure. Put him number 2 or number 3 on your ballot, but not number 1. It's George Springer.
Absolutely.
Next question.
I might put him number 1. Okay.
I might put him number 1.
He
likes reliving the past, eh? He thinks he's gonna get you to change your mind or something. It is what it is.
Okay.
George Springer on my little another key moment. April 3rd. George Springer hits a solo home run, right? And people are like, George sucked bad last year. He was worse in spring training. You're not good for him. He hit a home run. Man, how many more is he going to hit in his career? 3 or 4? Look at him. He hit 32 of them. Led the team. Most he's ever hit as a Blue Jay.
Unbelievable stuff.
You know what? Here's the thing with I'm not a huge Springer guy because he's just a little bit of a different dude. He's got a huge ego and stuff. But they brought him in here to be a leader. They brought him in here to have some playoff success, and he does have leadership qualities about him. Yeah. But you can't be a leader if you don't back it up with performance. And after 2 pretty bad seasons, especially bad in 2024, to come out and do what he's done, to be reliable. Where did Schneider have him at the start of the season? Like 6th in the order, and he was reluctant to move him up, and eventually he made it all the way back up to the leadoff position. But everyone sort of was wondering when the wheels were going to fall off Springer, and they didn't. And this is a guy that he runs the bases as good as anybody in baseball in terms of his anticipation and his skills in figuring out when to go and when not to go. He can hit for some power, as we know. He led the team in home runs. He'll take walks. He's just been. I don't know where this offense is without him, because everyone wants to talk about the guys at the bottom of the order who have contributed, and they truly have. It's been the old different guy every night scene that people like to talk about, which is a big part of this team's story. But you still need a superstar to produce, and George Springer was the guy that did that. Bo Bichette did as well, but Springer was kind of the guy that did it with more flair and more power. And I think he is, to me, the clear MVP of this team. And it'll be very interesting to see what influence he has in the postseason, because this is a guy that's won a World Series MVP. Don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to have a big performance in the postseason for the Jays. Longley, we know you're going to have a long media day, and so we don't want to keep you too much longer. I do want to ask you, though, after watching what you've seen in these wild card series, and all of them were great, really entertaining baseball. Who do you have going? Who do you feel more confident in, or maybe less confident in terms of going to the World Series on both sides?
Because of the wild card action? Huh. I don't know if this is a year for a wild card team. That's a good point.
I don't know if that it is either.
Yeah, it's the Cubs, I guess the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers. Now they were only playing the Reds, but the Dodgers probably kind of needed that after their uneven season. They had there's almost every team still in this seems to have issues still, right? Maybe Milwaukee doesn't, I suppose, but does anyone sort of see them rolling on through everybody? I'm not sure. So I don't know if I think beyond the entertainment value of the wild card round, which is the best that they've been under this format by far. I don't know that there's anybody that exited the wild card round and made me think that now all of a sudden they're World Series contenders. But we shall see. Wild card teams have had success in recent history in the MLB playoffs. That's for sure.
I still like the Phillies. I just look at that lineup and their pitching staff, well, in particular their bullpen, and I just have a hard time believing they're going to stub their toe. But that's why they play the games. I will say, of the wild card teams that got through, I don't want to sound like a homer here. I like what my Cubs were up to, man. I like what the Cubs are up to. I like what the Cubs are up to, okay? But you talk about issues. I mean, the Cubs are arguably missing their two best pitchers. Justin Steele didn't play this year. And obviously, we know what's going on with Cade Horton right now. Hopefully he can play against Milwaukee. But it'll be interesting, man. It'll be really interesting. And as always, we love having you on here, Longley. You got a busy day this week, my friend. Have fun down there. We're so excited to watch Blue Jays playoff baseball. It's going to be great, brother.
Yeah, good joining you guys. And Ryan, I'll make sure I tell Mark Shapiro you said hello.
Yeah, please let Mark know that I'm very.
You're still on speaking terms with Mark, Rob. That's good.
Actually, I get along good with him. Actually, I've talked to him a lot off the record, and he's I don't know, people. I don't know if he's genuine or not. He seems to be when I speak with him. The guy has issues, but
don't we all?
Fan base, don't we all? The fan base gets up in arms on him, but hey, he's run a really good business for that team, and that's what Ed Rogers pays him to do. So,
yes, he does. Yes, he does. And we know that you're going to deliver us when we have you on some hard hitting analysis, and we love it. Longley, thanks so much for doing this, brother.
Yeah, enjoy it. It's going to be fun. See you guys.
Thanks,
Absolutely. Thank you very much to our friend Rob Longley. Be on the lookout for his piece coming out on Saturday, and follow him, Longley Sun Sport, on social media. One of the best around. And it's time to bring on a friend.
Let's go to New York.
Let's go to New York. Our friend Mike Damergis.
Well, Damergis. What's going on, buddy? You've been the Yankee slammer all year, and look at now they're in the ALDS against the
Look
Jays.
at this guy. He's got a glow.
I felt a big sigh of relief because the Red Sox have owned the Yankees the last 3 times they faced them in the playoffs. I mean, what the Astros have done to the Yankees over the last 7 years is criminal, literally, because they cheated. But I'm not going to. Yes. The Yankees have not been the Yankees. I mean, I feel like this is the Yankees. I think they climbed a big hurdle here. And look, a prospect actually doing something for the Yankees. Not a player they went and bought, but a prospect actually coming up and getting it done. And I watched through the season. I go, but this guy Schlittler, he looks pretty good. But they take him out after 4 2/3 innings, 5 innings. A couple of times he didn't get the win because the bullpen failed, which I think the bullpen, which in years past for the Yankees has been a strength, is a weakness. And they avoided a disaster, I think, tonight by avoiding going to the bullpen except for the closer. So, to see this kid blossom over the last few months, and then calm, cool, collective, wasn't rattled. They knew I don't think he tricked anybody tonight, but the fastball, they couldn't catch up with the fastball. And you don't see that these days because every pitcher throws 99 miles an hour. They couldn't catch up with the fastball tonight.
Hey, I got to give credit to our buddy Jim Cressman, the hitman. He says, I can see the headline of the Daily Post or News tomorrow. Holy Schlittler.
Oh, yeah, pretty much, right?
I think you need to.
Will Yusevich and Schlittler go head-to-head? That would be amazing.
Who was that you said?
The Jays, Yusevich. They're a young kid. Like, it would be a need to have those two kids going head-to-head.
That'd be a hell of a story.
Yeah,
I remember back in 1981, I had tickets to Game 7 of the Yankees-Dodgers, and it would have been Fernando Valenzuela against Dave Righetti. Game 7 never came, and now it's 45 years later, and we saw 2 rookies go at it in a pivotal game. Pivotal game. Simply incredible tonight, really.
Every time I see the Yankees winning and climbing back and getting on a winning streak, I think, well, Damergis, you've been after Aaron Boone all season long, wanting him. Cashman gone. Like, how did this team turn it around, and how did they make it now to play the Jays in the ALDS?
Well, I think they got lucky down the stretch playing a lot of bad teams. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but everybody plays those teams, and they won.
Yeah. Oh, they do. I think Volpe turned it around quite a bit, and the steady pitching, and Jazz, they got back. He missed a month of the season, and they just did what they do. But what we saw here in years past, they did things they were unable to do and they couldn't do. They put the ball in play. They forced the opposing team to make errors. They ran the bases. If you remember back to 2017, guys getting thrown out at home plate constantly, guys getting thrown out on the bases constantly, making the plays when they needed to, and have strong pitching depth. I mean, think about it. Next year, this team's going to have Garrett Cole in the starting rotation. I mean, you look at that 4-man rotation, you're going back to the heyday of the Baltimore Orioles back 40, 50 years ago. So they did the little things is the difference that got them through this game, because where were the home runs? There weren't any home runs. You know what I'm saying? You had Ben Rice, hit the dinger, but where was Judge? He got a couple of base hits. Stanton thought we had one tonight, but it didn't make it over the fence. It wasn't murderer's row here. It was the little things that get it done. And boy, what a play for McMahon. I mean, he's gonna go down as Derek Jeter. I mean, you could sense I'm getting this damn ball. I don't care where it goes. I'm gonna take out the whole fence into the dugout.
That was quite the tumble.
Yeah, it was a great tumble. It just wasn't bloodied. It wasn't theatrical. You need a little blood on him.
Yeah.
No, well, that's what Yankees fans love, right? Guys selling out in the outfield. They're used to that, especially in their winning days. And
I worry about the home run thing before Ryan jumps in here. I just want to touch on that home run thing. My worry is as soon as Hoffman gets on the mound, there's going to be home runs. Yeah. That's what this guy does, gives up home runs.
Well, they got to make sure he doesn't get on the mound then. From the Jays' perspective, they got to try and get their offense going. And
I get that, but if they're winning by 2 or 3 runs, he's going to be on the mound, Ryan.
Yep, for sure.
Anyway.
It'll be interesting, if the Jays can get their offense going. In terms of
offense,
like
Bill Cottle. Remember Bill Cottle?
Oh boy, you're going back in time.
I am going back way before Ryan's time, but Bill Cottle, same thing. Home run.
You're kicking it back.
Catfish Underback, used to give up a lot of home runs, and he won 20 games 5 years in a row. I think the Yankees catching a break here. They're coming in hot. They're coming in kind of possessed, and they catch the Jays now where they've had almost a week off. And what happens a lot of times when a team sits for a little while, it takes them at least a game, a little bit into the second game to get things going again. So, maybe the Yankees could steal one up in Toronto and go back tied, or maybe even steal 2 in Toronto, and then they'll have home field advantage. When an opposing team comes and they could steal 1, they get home field advantage for the series. Almost.
You realize it's a long time since the Jays won a playoff game, right?
Well, it's been a long time.
Listen, today's players don't have. Listen, the kids today don't.
Hey, I'm a Leaf fan. I know history here.
They don't. The kids today don't know history. They don't pay attention to history anymore.
I do, and I've been saving this. I've clocked it, Clarkey, and a little later, in a few minutes after we conclude our business with Mr. Damergis here, I'm gonna discuss a comment that you made to me earlier that really doesn't sit well with me. But I want to talk to you specifically, Damerg, about 2 guys on this roster that I think are kind of unsung heroes that have really blossomed into really good players, and that's Ben Rice and Austin Wells. When the big guys were not going, when maybe Judge wasn't quite there, certainly when Stanton was up and down, even Jazz, those dudes seem to always find a way to come through with something. What is your overall impression of those 2 dudes and what they mean right now to Yankees fans?
I mean, thank God for Ben Rice, boy. I mean, Goldschmidt didn't hit a home run really since April 1st. Let's be honest for you. He had a great first month of the season, and then he went MIA. He was on a milk carton pretty much. You couldn't find him anywhere. Ben Rice has become a superstar. Clutch home runs, energy. And not only that, he gave Austin Wells a break, during times during the season because he could catch. So this guy could play first base, he could catch, and he's got power and pop. He was overmatched today. He wasn't ready for the young lefty who had good stuff, low, off-speed stuff, and he wasn't ready for him. I wouldn't have put him in that high in the lineup today. I would have moved him back. I would have had Jazz in his position because Jazz, is a veteran, is ready to play. And I would have moved Ben Rice a little bit down the lineup. He was clearly overmatched against the lefties. Austin Wells, look, power lefty, knows how to frame, good catcher, picked up from where he was last year. The thing I don't like with, in today's baseball really is the low averages. I mean, you're looking at all these guys, 220, 240. 30 home runs, 80 RBIs. Where's at least a 275? I mean, if a guy's not hitting 250, why you're in a lineup? They still got to work out that. That's one thing the Yankees do not have outside of Aaron Judge is the guy that puts up a high average.
On that note, I'm curious then, since you bring that up, and it'll be an interesting debate, do you think that Judge should be the MVP over Raleigh because of what you just said?
Watching Judge every day is simply incredible. I mean, look, he's carried this franchise for the better part of 7-8 years. Let's be honest here. But what Cal Raleigh's done as a catcher, and maybe, I don't know if anybody's played catcher. I played a little catcher going through Little League and everything. It's a grueling position. I mean, catchers are like running backs in the NFL. You do not last as long. And what Cal Raleigh's done is simply incredible. I think Cal Raleigh deserves the MVP.
Wow, you heard it here first. Okay. I agree just because of the historic nature of what he did, but I want your prediction here on what you think is going to happen in this series. I mean, I know you think the Yankees are going to win, but how are they going to go about doing it against this Jays team? What's the biggest key factor in your opinion for a Yankees win?
Aaron Judge. Oh. I think they're going to get the good starting pitching. I think that's going to continue. Rodon's been terrific. Fried's been terrific. You saw what he got from Schlittler. Aaron Judge's got to do it. He needs that Reggie moment. You know what I'm saying? He needs to have that big time moment, the Albert Pujols moment, the big Poppy moment. He needs that moment. He needs a Joe Carter moment, as you guys well know. You know, if you're going to be a superstar, especially if you're going to be a superstar in New York, you need that moment. The MVPs are great, but I don't. You know, in the big cities that know baseball, or for you guys that know hockey, you know, where's the championship? You know, show me that ring. You need to, you know, don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring, right? That's a song. Did Beyonce do that, or the ring on it? Did she have a song like that?
Yep.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Yeah, that's what she says.
Okay.
I asked this to our friend Rob Longley in our last guest segment there, and I don't know that I've asked you this before. I'm curious your take on this. Do you believe, as a diehard Yankees guy, that if Judge continues doing what he's doing in the regular season, which I truly believe he is, if he's not, he's right there, maybe the greatest right-handed hitter of all time, but he doesn't get that Reggie moment in a postseason series, doesn't get a ring, do you think he can still be considered in that pantheon of Yankees greats without that ring on the finger that Beyonce says?
I think eventually he'll be accepted to that. I mean, how many world championships did Ted Williams win? How many did Hank Aaron win? I think Hank Aaron won one world championship, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of great players. You know, how many did Barry Bonds win? How many world championships did Barry Bonds win? You know, some of the best players in baseball do not win. I think over time it will be, you know, once he's gone, Yankee fans will be like, boy, do we miss Aaron Judge. And boy, we will miss Aaron Judge when he's gone. But initially it's, you got to get it done. You can't rest until you get that world championship. And now I think, to be honest with you, not any offense to the Blue Jays, I think the Red Sox just mentally were the bigger hurdle for them. To get past them.
No respect, eh? No respect for the Blue Jays here coming out of New York. You know,
let's counter it.
And Vladdy, like, hey, Vladdy's in the same boat as Judge. He's got to perform. He has not. I don't think he's hit a home run since early September. He's been brutal lately, quite frankly.
Yeah, but you know the sports radio stations, they'll be talking about the Leafs the day after the playoffs, and Vladdy will just, you know, sink into the off season, and everybody will be happy come next spring in Dunedin. So you know that's true. It'll go the whole winter here in New York. I mean, you can't talk about the Jets and the Giants. Okay, that this kid Jackson Dart, they're talking about him a little bit, but you know, football is pretty much dead here because the teams.
No. Hey, the Leafs are the New York's Yankees. Like, it's the same thing, right? Like, but
no, it's not. It's not.
It is when it comes to the fan base, dude. In Toronto, 100%.
Okay.
It's a Leaf town, 100%.
I understand that it's not the same. I actually think it's insulting that you're suggesting that in front of Mike Damergis.
All I'm saying is the fans in New York are attached to the Yankees. The fans in Toronto are attached to the Leafs.
I understand what you're saying.
I get it.
It's not quite the same. It's like chocolate and vanilla. One is better, right? So I don't know. And the Yankees won in color TV.
You're telling my hair's a mess here. I got to put a hat on here. I mean, come on. Hold on.
Hey, look at that.
Go ahead. Take a second. Put your hat on.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't just have it on to start here. It's a big day. I I'm only teasing you, Clarky. I mean, I know the Leafs are important.
Better. That's better.
You know where I got this hat, Chris? I got this hat from when you guys sent me to the World Series in 1999 with Hunt and McCowan.
Where was that one?
That was in the Yankee Stadium when they beat the Braves 4 straight.
That's right.
Okay, because I went to
San Diego. Yeah, you had the plum job.
I did because they swept and we had a day off.
Yeah,
it was good.
Probably right.
No, we didn't go golfing. We were going to go to the zoo because San Diego has apparently a zoo, but we didn't go there. We just a bunch of guys went to Tijuana, Mexico. I remember it was plain as day, and I didn't go. I just said I'm not going to Tijuana, Mexico.
Do you remember when me and Shaky had the bet that David Wells would win more games than Roger Clemens, and we had a couple of bets. One, he had to wear the big Yankee hat, and then when Wells won more games than Clemens that year after the trade, I had to burn my Yankee hat.
Oh my gosh!
That was sacrilege. You know, that was
serious business.
Wow,
stuff, but
serious business.
I think the Blue Jays might be a little flat again, taking some time off, and maybe the Yankees could sneak the first game from them, and then. Maybe home field would go in their advantage here.
Well, I don't know. You've turned your tune. You were so negative.
I was.
Get you on today because I thought you were going to be Mr. Negative again. And
I was calling for Boone's. Here's the thing about it, and I know this firsthand. Cashman makes the decisions, and I know this firsthand. He makes out the lineup, and he makes the decision on who plays. In game, it's Boone, but as far as who plays and stuff like that. It's not a Boone's decision. It's Cashman's.
Really? Wow.
I don't know. I am. Well, how do you feel about that then? Like as a fan,
I hate
do you think that's
yeah? Everyone should hate it.
Yeah.
Field manager should be in charge of everything.
Here's the thing. Well, hey, I
get there's
the
input.
You hire him,
but
100%. And I think that the only reason that he's able to do that is because of his last name. But I mean, as much as you do deride Aaron Boone, he is a good manager and a significant guy in Yankees history as well.
I don't know about that. The first game, not pinch running for Goldie. You know, the way he used the bullpen there. You would think he would be a brilliant. I don't think he outmaneuvers anybody. Although in today's day and age, it's hard to outmaneuver a different manager. I think Cora is a way better manager than Aaron Boone is. I think he's a nice guy. Jazz.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm in the middle of the year was kind of when the ball hit the roof where he was playing in Miami. Oh yeah, I know how this, the ball bounces around here. He had a little lull there. The days of holy players are accountable is over. Those days are long done. So it's a tightrope here, but if the Yankees would have gotten knocked out after 2 games, who's getting fired? Is it Cashman or is it Boone? Or are they both getting fired? Who would go?
Well, what do you think? Probably both of them.
I feel like New York doesn't generally fire both guys. Like I feel like Boone would go, and then if something similar happened the next year, then Cashman would go.
Steinbrenners love Cashman. They are not.
They do. They love.
There's your answer.
They are not making moves. They're not going with the Mets, who went out and got Juan Soto. The most drastic they've done was getting CC Sabathia when they dragged Reggie Jackson to go out west to see CC Sabathia and tell him if you win in New York, there's like winning nowhere else. But they like the way Cashman run things pretty much.
They really do. Damergis, I want to get you out of here on this, and we also asked
Rob Longley. I'm good to go here. So
I know we got.
We're running. We'll get you back on next week. Okay, let's make the plan now.
We absolutely need to get you back on and see how this series goes.
Except the Leafs start next Wednesday. Forget it. We got to talk Leafs.
Yeah, there you go.
We can make room. We can make room. All right. I want to ask you, when you look at the way these wild card series shook out, and it was exciting baseball and all the series, like some really good games here. Have your opinions changed at all on who you think on either side of the baseball playoff tree could make the World Series? Or do you still feel pretty confident in the teams that you think are the real deal?
I mean, you always like the Dodgers to the Dodgers, but I don't think there was one big favorite that came into either the American League or National League where you say that team's the best. If I look at things now, I like the Phillies as the leading contender. I wouldn't count Detroit out for some reason. They seem to have, that mojo, that Motown mojo going on a little bit. And, I wouldn't count them, but I don't think there's any team that outweighs another team. It's not a real heavyweight in the playoffs here where you say, oh, this team is so strong. And look, it's all speculative. I was at the Giant game Sunday, covering the Giant game Sunday, and the Chargers were in town. I thought they were going to be smacking, and they would destroy the Giants. And I think the Chargers and the Bills are the best teams in the AFC. Chargers lost to a rookie quarterback. So
yeah. And they looked bad doing it too, man. I mean, I think Harbaugh took some serious rocks for that one, man. They stubbed their toe big time. That was, and I think that actually ended a lot of people's survivor pools too. So maybe all's not lost for New York football, Damergis. You never know.
Yeah, here's a reason why I don't bet. The betting line on Saquon Barkley last week was over under 75. Oh, easy. Saquon's going over 75. What do you have?
Of course.
20, 30 yards rushing on the day, something like that. I mean, come on.
He scored a touchdown. I cashed out on that.
Hey, before you go, just one quick question. You weren't in Long Island on the weekend, were you?
I was not.
You weren't throwing beers at
at Rory's wife?
At Rory's wife? No?
Boy,
okay.
That was bad, huh?
Oh my gosh.
It was not good.
It didn't look good on Long Island. Sure.
We made Philly fans look tame.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It did.
That was something.
But you know what? Dude, it was like Ryan came over to my place on Sunday and we thought, okay, we'll watch the Ryder Cup. By the time the Europeans clinch, then we'll turn over to the Jays game at 3:00 and watch them win. We barely watched any of the Jays game because the Americans just had a great Sunday,
go,
but just not enough.
They weren't letting go.
I think it's a reflection of the political times. I mean, people just think they could say and do whatever they want. It's scary.
It is absolutely correct in my
It's strange stuff, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, Damergis, we really appreciate you jumping on here. Congrats to your Yankees. That's as far as I'll take it. Now we're mortal enemies up here now. We're really excited for this series, man. Yeah. Enjoy this. This.
Well, Clarkey must be a good luck because when I worked at the Fan 590 in Toronto, the Yankees won 4 World Championships. So this must be good luck. So they haven't won since I've been back in the States in 25 years.
It's crazy the Jays and Yanks have never met in the postseason. Yeah, I think it's cool.
Jays had some good teams in the late 90s too.
They did.
Well,
in early 90s.
Here's some history being made. Damergis, thanks so much for doing this, brother. Best of luck to your Yankees.
Thank you. Talk to you again.
See you, buddy.
Absolutely. There's our friend Mike Damergis. He is one of the hosts on the Bronx's Burning podcast. Huge Yankee fan, obviously. We've got like a minute and a half left here, Clarkey.
Yeah.
And I just want to address that you said something to me earlier about how I like to live in the past. You're part of a group.
What was I referring to? What was I referring to?
Oh, something about the Blue Jays. Like when we were talking with Longley about like playoff performances.
Oh, you asked him about the MVP again. That's what it was.
Yeah. You said something about, oh, geez, like living in the past. I was like, you can't say that to people, brother. That's a thing.
I did bring up Bill Cottle in the show today.
Hey, that's a good poll, dude. Like it's a real baseball fan. I want to say quickly, and I'm glad you brought it up with Damergis, and I wish we had more time to touch on it. And we will in the future. We'll get Doigy on, our buddy Ian Doig. The fans were just out of control, and I'm all fine with booing people and this, that, and the other, and home field advantage, whatever. Throwing beers at Erica McElroy and making the comments about his kid.
She's American.
She's American. It was so gross. I hated it, and I was fired up when my guy Shane Lowry retained, and then they got it done. Shane Lowry is the biggest beauty of all time.
That was a fun day watching with you, and
we had a fun day.
I think the neighbors and some people who were over thought you were a little wacky.
Yeah, well, that's how I get. I'm a passionate guy, and we're passionate about this show. We're passionate about our fans. You can find this show on all your favorite podcast apps with our friends on Rogers TV. Friday nights airing in the Owen Sound region just before Attack Hockey. Saturdays 10 p.m. and Mondays at 1 p.m. with our friends in the London region. Make sure you follow us at Instigating Pod. We'll see you next week. for more instigating. Go Jays. Come on.